where we were monitoring the patient for a complete full day, full 1 month, using a pocket ECG device. Okay. So still it is way advanced in the market. We designed it for the US market, okay, but we were not able to take it to the market. You know, every startup doesn't survive, but we keep creating. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it succeeds or doesn't succeed, but we should keep creating. So, starting my presentation, let's understand what is AI. So, what do you see in this picture? A baby, okay, watching a candle. I will say this is my complete AI system from scratch. So, this baby doesn't know anything, but it has sensors, right? So, it has eyes, it has ears, it has touch feeling, fingers, skin, right? So, it's ready to learn. Now, imagine a condition, there is a candle in front of the baby. If it tries to touch it, what will happen? He will get burned, or at least he will feel the hotness. So what will be stored in his system? Not to touch it, right? So means it is stored that I don't have to touch it. So this is experience, learning by experience, right? And then what else? Now he has to evolve. You must have heard of LLM, NLP. He doesn't know how to speak. He has to learn that. So that is learned through teaching. That learning to him will come through teaching. So what we call this? This is called human intelligence. And the moment we try to replicate it, it becomes artificial intelligence. Correct? Concept is correct? Now you know what intelligence is and how we can replicate it. Okay. So you have to put sensors, you should have memory, right? So this baby has a lot of memory, gigabytes of memory, which you can put in, right? So that's why learning is required. So what we have now, data centers. Data centers has lot of processing power, lot of memory, right? And where we put the algorithm, so where is the algorithm in this baby? Where is the algorithm? DNA, right? So some data is already filled in, which helps him learn, right? So DNA is the algorithm which this baby carries. Now there are two types of how we use AI. So they are the AI builders, right? Who build the systems which you know like Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, and multiple more. So that work is done by AI builders. Same like there are people who have built YouTube. So how many people have built YouTube? How many people have built Facebook? How many people have built WhatsApp? So there was a person of team of 5 people who built WhatsApp. There was a team of 20 people who built Facebook. There was a team of 15 people who built YouTube. And how many users are there? Millions. Right? Same applies to AI. So they are builders, which will be a small team. They are already working last 20 years. Okay? They have built what you call Gemini, what you call ChatGPT, what you call Grok. Okay? But users will be multiple times more. Right? So first I will briefly tell for the enthusiasts who want to go to the field of AI builders. So what you need to know for AI builders. This is something called, you must have heard of neural network. So what does the first picture represent? It's one neuron. In human body, one neuron, what it represents. But can it work alone? No. How many neurons are there in a human body? Human mind, sorry. Billions. Okay, even nobody is able to count. And when we go to neural network, it is very small representation of which will do very small tasks, okay, which we use for deep learning. Okay, so you have 5 inputs, their internal nodes. What are those? They can be processing units, they can be inputs, anything. Okay, no decision can be done with just one input. There are multiple inputs. I will give you example in the last slides which I worked on. So this is something in a very small format what neuron looks like, and you have to build billions like that. Okay, to create or to replicate intelligence, which we call artificial intelligence, you have to use these neurons. Now you will think how to implement it, right? That's part of builders, right? So software people, how they will implement it? I use a very simple thing. It just a if and then statement. If then else. If input is this, do this. If input is that, do this. Or don't do this. Clear? So it's not very complicated. But when you have to take thousands of inputs, calculate, do some calculation, apply some formula on that, it requires a big processing power plus memory also. Why we need memory? If you are computer science students, for storing temporary data, storing permanent data, right? So that's what happens in human brain also. There is old memory that is being stored, based on which you take decisions. Same thing we replicate in artificial intelligence. So whether it is fetching a live data or it is fetching a old data, comparing with that and giving the result. That's what we are trying to build in the artificial intelligence. So these are the things the person who is interested in building the AI system has to learn. Okay? So these are the name of the neural network models, okay, which is you have to understand. So we will not go in detail, don't worry. Okay. I will just skip that, but this is for your reference. So now you are seeing content generation, Gen AI what we call, right? So there is something called transformers model in AI which you have to use. So we will not go in how to create that model, how to understand, we will not go in, just for your reference, but you have to go through. You can search, now ChatGPT, Gemini, everybody will answer what is transformers, right? It is built on neuron, feedback, neuron, feedback, neuron, feedback. Then there are different architectures for different purposes. You cannot say one architecture support everything, right? Suppose we take the image and video processing. What else do you need more than moreover the neurons? So what is the functional unit or the thing which processes? What is the algorithm? It doesn't need, it needs input, it will give you output. But what will be the processing unit? Have you heard of digital signal processing? Okay. So digital signal processing is the concept which is used to process video, images, any signal. Okay, if it is not available, you cannot implement these neural networks. So until those are available and available freely, which AI can access, you cannot do the signal processing, or you cannot do the speech or video processing or image processing. Okay? So these are the concepts which goes behind the AI. Okay, so AI you can think of as a big wrapper inside which lot of algorithms go, right? So you have NLP, you have LLMs, okay? So with each concept, there is a lot of algorithms that is going inside. Like application, it is mentioned here, language processing, vision, medical, scan analysis, any medical data which you need to process need DSP algorithms. But it has to be digitized from analog data to digital data, then it has to be analyzed to give the output. Now this is the real part, where 90% of the people will be working, or where the people will be using these systems. Same like example, your Facebook, your YouTube, your WhatsApp users, and they can, the benefit here, use it, like there are tools that are being given, the support, the architecture is like that everybody can modify the system. Clear? So first you should know what tools are available today. We don't know, they are available, they were not available 5 years back. We don't know how many new will be coming up. Okay? So like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Cloud, Grok, DeepSeek, these are not one system. It covers all the AI architectures. So behind the scene, it takes care of which one to use based on your query or your prompting, what we call. So here the concept comes, new concept, prompting. Prompting is nothing but giving a command to the AI system what you want to do. And why we are calling it prompting? Previously we used to give commands in the system, right? In the software you give this command, this will run, or run the code. Right? So here it is made, they made it user friendly. So you can write anything in your own language, whether it's English, Hindi, Chinese, Japanese, and it will take that as a command and do the work for you. Internally, it will access what it needs to do, which architecture it has to use. Right? There are some specific tools which is used for a specific purpose. Something like Whisper Flow. So you give it text, it will convert to speech. Sorry, speech. You speak and it will convert to text. So you don't have to write or type. So typing expertise is gone. Right? But it has made the life easier. Everybody doesn't know typing. Previously there used to be big utility for typists. Now there is no requirement. But still something has to be done. Even prompting you have to type. But now if you are using this tool, you don't have to type. You can speak and prompt. Similarly, Notebook LM, this is a specified tool together with Gemini, which is used for, you upload the data, it will create graphs, it will create, data can be in form of book, PDF, Excel sheet, CSV file, it will create graphs for you. Okay. But you should know what type of graph you want, what data you want to compare. You have to mention that and there should be some link in the file that you have uploaded, that how it will work. So, like Adobe Firefly, Agent, Canva, everybody is listening nowadays, right? Seeing. You can use it for creating, generating images. So you don't have to go in detail. So everything is done inside Canva. You don't have to worry about what algorithm it is using, but whether it is the best algorithm it is using, no. So what experts use, who are into movie making, who are into idea creation, whether they will use the Canva, you don't know. That is up to individual to try it out. Right? we are coming to the most basic thing of which everybody will be using is prompting, which mostly all the tools, AI tools, whatever available or which will be available in the future, will be prompting. So for this, you don't need to have too much of knowledge about or details, technical details. Don't need to know anything. Anybody can use it. Even a kid can use it. You must have seen Alexa, Siri. Just you speak, it will do the work. Right? Now, what is prompting? How should we understand it? First, you have to set the context. What you want to do. Like, create an image. Context is set, you want to create an image. Now, what is the constant you want to give? Like, we want a baby in it. We want a candle in it. Whether it should be a home environment, whether it should be sitting in a jungle. What is the size of the image we want to create? So this is the constant you are giving it. Okay. What is the quality of image you want? Now think how AI is doing it. Whether it's generating or it is copying. So it has a knowledge, it is copying. Right? So it is an intelligent system which copies with intelligence, with the constants. So you can also copy. Like everybody do that from ChatGPT assignment. Use ChatGPT, it's done. Okay. But do it, at least understand it. Use your intelligence to understand it. Okay. Put some constants that you are not copying the headings, page number, figure number. Okay. So that's what AI is doing for you. It's not copying everything, it's copying what you want. So context you have to set. Okay. And you can write full paragraph. It's not one line, it's not two lines. You can write full paragraph. So this concept is clear, context and how to put constants. What more? So those are two basic things, context, constants. Now can somebody who doesn't know finance can create a balance sheet? No, right? So first thing you need is vision, what you want to do, right? So the person who wants to create a movie should have a background in fine arts, right? We can create, but will it look good? Any technical person can create unless he has a vision what he wants to create, he or she wants to create. Will not be able to do because he has to define the context, he has to define the constants, which only person knows. So vision, what is the imagination you are doing, okay, and the domain expertise. Right? So don't worry like you are not working on AI, so you are, whatever you are doing, you are learning domain expertise. Okay? You are learning which will be used to really use the AI systems to make the life easier or to get something more out of AI. Right? Suppose you want to do an operation, AI can do the operation. Can a finance person can do the operation? No. You need an expertise of a doctor to do. Right? To put the context, to put the constants, right? Then there are some, what do we call it, terms, right? Pattern finding is one of the terms, okay? You should have good vocabulary. Why vocabulary? Because same word, it's a natural language, right? But in any language, same word will mean different things. AI, it is trying to replicate your natural language, right? Your natural text, the how person speak. But if the same meaning means two different things, AI will get confused. Okay? So we should have a good vocabulary to put the right constant or context to tell AI what to do. Clear? Pattern finding. Why pattern finding? Take any example. How do you learn? You have seen in your history, in your experience, what is happening, what happened before, and 90% chances it will happen again if these constants or conditions are met, right? So these patterns has to be recognized. Okay. So AI do the same thing, right? How it gives the result? Okay, this is the query. This is what is expected of us. Same thing humans has to do is. It's not like you can create something new or something. It will happen eventually. But before that, you should know what is the pattern, what is the history, what was the history, and how it will replicate. Clear? Researching you have to do. Researching, anybody wants details about that? It's understanding. It's part of domain expertise that you want to create. If you really want to create something new, you have to do the research. Understanding latest trends and relevant information, that is for future. Now comes the most important aspect. Understand how people think and behave, predicting human behavior, understanding cognitive psychology and behavioral sciences. Because that's what you want AI to do. Okay. You want it to behave in a human manner. If you are not covering this, right, if you are not aware of them, AI can give very different results. Right? Whether this person has to be jailed or not jailed, if you are taking, if you suppose you make AI a judge, okay, and it go by rules, what it will do? It doesn't have any cognitive psychology, right? It doesn't read mind, it doesn't understand situations. So this is where the human intelligence still will be utilized while using AI system. That's why we can't make AI a judge, right? So that was about prompting. Now agentic AI. You must have heard the buzzword, what is agent? You are defining agents. What do you think it is? Is it something new, AI? No. Once you same system which works on only one particular task. Let's take the example of ticket booking. You want to create an agent for ticket booking. What you all need for that? If Make My Trip, Clear Trip, Travel, Yatra are not available, will be able to book the ticket? No. Because automatic systems are already available, so you have to give it the information which website you want to book the ticket, which is the one you have authorized. It will need your password login. So the agent, creating agent means keeping that context alive. Right? So you keep that context alive and you create an agent. So that agent will do the work for your ticket booking. It will not do anything else. Keeping that context alive. So there are two websites which you can explore. N8NIO, which are most popular, make.com. Using these, we are doing workflow automation, which is the most of you will be doing as a AI operator or user. You identify a situation, a process, you define a SOP, standard operating procedure. Okay, you define every small task, okay, and you automate that work. And you create an agent. And you keep that context alive. So everything is supported by these websites. So concept is clear how you are creating the agent. It's not something new. It's keeping the context. Now, again, data science is a buzzword. What I have written here, it's a statistics. You are doing statistics since time immemorial, right? 20 or 30 or 50 years. Right? You have data. You want to find or predict something. It's a statistics. So there are two, three concepts, main ones. There are multiple. There's a lot of algorithms. There's a lot of what you say formulas that you have to put in. But I will just cover two main things. You have a data. What do you want to do with that? Either you want to do a correlation. Correlation means what? You plot one data on x-axis, one on y-axis. That's what we call correlation. Depending on one data, because this word is not simple to understand, and I was also confused when I was being taught. Okay, so teachers means it doesn't explain means I don't know. At my time, nobody was able to explain in a layman language. They say correlation, and it was we don't know. They put all formulas, this and that. What is correlation? With reference to one data, how the other is changing is correlation. Simple. Right? You plot a graph, you plot this type of graph, that type of pie chart, bar chart, pie chart. Everything is correlation. With respect to one thing, how the other things are changing. Whether you want to plot with respect to multiple data points, you can do that. With single data point, you can do that. You can do it in Excel. It's existing since last 25 years. Before that, we were plotting it by hand. And when I was doing ECG, literally we plotted by hand. Because we were not comfortable whether Excel is doing the right job. Okay. I will explain in the last slide. Then trend analysis. Okay, with respect to time, how data is changing. These are the main two things everybody does. Even YouTube videos, how many likes, what day, when it happened. With respect to time, you are plotting the data to understand how your video is performing. Very simple two things. 10 time series analysis with respect to old data, with respect to new time. So this is what is data. Now, what is data? Again the question comes, what is data? Data can be numerals, data can be alphabets, names. How you will compare names? How you compare text? Everything needs to be enumerated, has to be converted into numerical data. Then you can compare. Right? You can count the how many number of times this word is used. Right? So text cannot be compared. Right? So let's take the example of LLM. Everybody heard of LLM? Large language models. Right? How they are doing that? How they are analyzing each text? So they are embedding in their terms, embedding tokenization, right? Everything converted to numerals. Then they are working. Clear? NLP, natural language processing, how they are doing it? Same. They are converting to phonetics. The minimum form of a language is phonetic. Converting to phonetic, combining that, building the, they are able to edit. First it has to train. Generally, you will see when somebody has to give the command, they will ask you to speak some standard words. Then it start using, they convert it into a small chunks of phonetics and then build it back. Right? In phonetic, when they ask you to speak a sentence, it covers all the possible phonetics that you speak, that they can convert or can recognize. They will store it in their memory. Right? So everything, every data need to be converted. That's how you have to see, like anybody from economics background, life sciences background. First you have to understand what data is, what data you are collecting, and how that data is converted into a numerical. Right? Now, coming to demonstration, like how I have worked. So we are working on this thing last 20 years. 20 years back, we worked on, 15 years back, I worked on ECG analysis. It's an AI system. It detects, you upload the ECG, it will detect the arrhythmia conditions, means what is wrong with the person. So, in the first graph you see, this is a standard waveform. This is a waveform from MIT database. Okay. So we have all the test systems built according to first waveform. And my algorithm is failing for all the MIT database. So what we discussed, pattern matching, researching, context setting, right? So my algorithm is like a AI system, which works on ECG, it will tell, right? So I have to break this ECG waveform in small chunks. How many chunks I can break it? It can be 1,000 samples per second, right? Digital data. And I need to get the timing information also, because each waveform has some time frame. Accordingly, I will build. Still, there is a, so I have collected all the data. I can rebuild it. I can plot it. Even in Excel sheet, if I put the continuous data, 1,000 samples, it will create a waveform for me. But still, my algorithm was failing. It is passing on the test data, but it is failing on the actual human data. Can you see the sharp edge in this data? Sharp edge in the reference waveform. Is there any sharp edge in the actual human data? Hello. So you can see a sharp edge that is coming here. Right? Is there a sharp edge which is little different? It's not exactly this form of sharp. So my algorithm is failing, because we never get the data, same test system data. So this is where you require a domain expertise. So I am an engineer, I am not able to solve it. Who will solve it? Doctor. Okay. He has to identify, we have to work together, sit together. Why it is so? He is also saying, like, it's a standard. I don't know software and I don't know ECG. Now pattern. Now we keep seeing this image. We were sitting like this for 5 days. What is difference? What is different? Right? That's what you will be doing when things get stuck. We realize that it's not sharp as this. So we have to see how the, what you say, there is a specific term for that. How the data is going up, where the gap is coming, and how it is going down. Right? And we have to change the algorithm accordingly. So that's where the domain expertise and your research a pattern recognition. All these three factors will be coming. Okay. And how we identify what is the issue? This is the standard waveform, but what it is showing here. A full peak is missing. Okay. And it's never according to standard. So we have to get exact time stamped data. With time, which has to go up. Peak is missing, means some issues. Okay. Then there are some 10, 20 kinds of issues. We have to identify which kind of issue. And it will immediately send to the doctor one mail or the snapshot of data that this issue is there. So we have to work at this level while creating AI. But doctors are not creating AI. Doctors have to understand. Right? So doctor's expertise is required as a user plus the domain expert. Okay? So this is an example of how the creators or builders will use and where the domain expertise will be used. Clear? Second example I take, I worked on driverless locomotive. You are automating cars, right? It has cameras, it has what more? So we don't need to have too many cameras in locomotive. Right? It works on rail power. Right? So what we need? But still we need wind pressure. Okay. Basic two things what we have to do is start and stop the train or put the accelerator. Braking, accelerator, stop it. Purpose is to save the fuel. So vision is how we can save the fuel. And why this has come into picture? Because of human behavior. What drivers are doing? They are putting accelerator. Like generally when you are driving, you see the clear path, you put accelerator, go at 100. And suddenly something comes, you put a full energy is waste. Right? You accelerate to and immediately by using braking, you have to stop the train. Right? So how we can make sure that we don't use too much of energy, optimize it, okay, and save the fuel. So for that we need information what is happening here. Whether turn is there, turning happens, right? So why to go at that speed? What is the optimal speed that we don't lose time, we don't lose fuel? Okay? Because braking is waste of energy, right? It's dissipated as heat. So neither we want to lose time. It's not like we have to make it slow, go slowly, and it will again consume fuel. But what are the factors? There are some 1,000 factors which we have to consider. It's not just braking and acceleration. The train is going through when ice is falling, then what is the speed? Because the skidding will happen. So there are some 1,000 sensors that are put in train. Now think about neural network. So we build a model. Model building we used. There is a tool which is existing since last 20 years, MATLAB. Right? MATLAB is a code generator. It is generating code. What is the code generated? If this value, this. If this value, do this. If this value, and after next step, there may be some third value that is required. Based on all the values, you will decide what to do. And once it is not able to decide, it will just raise the alarm. Okay, come driver, some human intervention is required. So that also happens. Right? So you got the concept of how AI being built and how AI is being used. Right? I am done with my presentation. Thanks for your attention. Hope I am able to give some perspective on AI, both building the AI and using the AI. Any questions if you have?
Sir, what's the carbon footprint of Gen AI?
So, as you see, in a human body, generally we say we are doing so much of processing. Okay, human body use 1 megawatt of power every day, and when we are using systems or data centers, they use for the same kind of work if they have to do, they may be using 1000 megawatt of power if they have to do the same thing. That's why human system is better. Now we need that much memory, so it is really uh, they are trying to optimize. That's what is going on in the AI system, how to optimize the processing requirements. That's one of the research topic which is always there. We are doing it since I got into the system, whether it's telecom, everything, because we used to build BTS, BSCs, which is GSM, GPRS centers, and we are trying to reduce the power. Previously, one mobile, I will take the example of mobile. So it used to consume, or let me take the example of our ECG device. It will work for 36 hours with 900 milliampere battery. But have you seen ECG machines? How much power they are consuming? It's doing exactly the same work, right? So that's what everybody is trying to do, trying to miniaturize the system. Now you have seen previously it's 10 nanometer, now it's 2 nanometer. It is further go down to 1 nanometer or sub nanometer, just to make sure that the power is reduced. The whole concept is how the power is reduced, because the same size will consume more power if you have to move too many of electrons. Currently the carbon footprint is very high, okay, to really process the data. That's why all the tools are not free. That's what they are charging to run their data centers. But as much as we use renewable energy, either solar or hydrogen, okay, and dependence on your fossil fuels is reduced, it doesn't matter, right? But when solar energy, hydropower is not available, then you are still dependent. But current footprint is very big. I think I answered somewhat of your question, not exactly.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation, sir. We got a very good clarity. Being from a non-engineering background, your concept of explaining AI was really wonderful. When you explained about neuron and when you showed that formula for X and Y, that we feed the data, and as we are also listening in the newspapers and we had a chat in the morning as well, uh, number of researchers have increased, number of research papers have increased than the previous times. Not because the quality of the learning is accelerating as well, but it is AI that is helping the researchers to have a lot of data being created and text is being formed, ready-made, good text is being developed by AI. When we talk about data feeding into the machine learning model, there are a lot of data fabrication. How we people like who are not from the technical, and how can we solve this problem of data fabrication, and how can we ensure trust into this data system, that right input and output has gone, and even when we talk about the fabrication of data, how to resolve that issue.
So let me tell you a scenario. None of the banks, none of the hospitals are using AI systems what are publicly available. Why? Because that can be data theft. They don't want to share their data on a public platform, neither banks. So what they do, they build their own data centers. Whatever they want to create as a bot or want to use AI, they have their own architecture which is trained on their data. Okay. So you cannot do everything on their AI systems. It's meant for a specific purpose. On public platforms, you can't control, but there are ethics built in. Okay. I would like to show a small demo. Can you open the Google Journey? You can close the. I will just come. So we are going to Germany. Hello. So we are going to Germany AI system, right? Click on the create image. Okay. And right, create the image of a baby touching a candle. It is not created because it's not good baby touching. So you have set the context, you have put the restraint. Okay. Now change the same wording, attempting to touch. It is attempting to touch. Attempting to. So this is the example of ethics built in the. So it's not, but it is created for you. So there is a ethics built in. So it's uh, trying to understand the human behavior. Okay, because if it is harmful, it will not do. So slowly they are building in those systems. If it is harmful, it will not do. So now they have stopped. Maybe they planned yesterday. Because I was trying to create an image telling that how the sensing things works, how the baby learn. Okay, so it didn't create it. But when I say attempting to touch the candle, it's not touching, but trying to learn. Okay, so it created that. Okay. Then I tried, okay, in the environment. So it created in the home environment, then I created it near the wheel. Each kid it created. Okay, so that's the constant you can give, and that is the context you can set. So I think I answered
Yes.
your question somewhat.